everybody, and welcome to this episode of the Automated Millionaire video/podcast. Hi, I'm Mikkel Pitsner, and I help small and medium-sized businesses, and I help the business owners and their team make a better business. That basically means making much more money and doing it such that it's done with speed. And I do so without the business owners and their team having to work harder. In fact, it'll actually be easier for them to transform the business and continue the journey in such a way that they get the result. I do it by implementation of a unique business system that I call the Automated Millionaire Business System. In yesterday's episode, we touched a little bit about the competence and confidence loop, or the confidence-competence loop. And we talked a little bit about those fears that we had the other day. Also, the day before that, we had the fears of being judged and the other fear of being a failure. In this episode here, we're going to talk about those moments in time, both personal or in this case, since we're focusing on our business, we're talking about the moments when you are pressed up against the wall, when basically you're met with such a big challenge, a really large challenge, and you don't really feel you have much out, you don't have a lot of options and so on. So your back is really much up against the wall. And what I wanted to relay to you in this, which is probably going to be a relatively short episode, I wanted to relay to you a difference of mindset. So when we are pressed very much up against the wall, we're probably freaking out a little bit, and we probably have a lot of anxiety, and we have a lot of stresses against us and so on. We have a lot of obligations, and we are like, I'm coming up short here. But I did have once back in my days of my limousine services, there was a point in time when I changed employees. So the operational manager I had up to a certain point, who was really great, and I had probably the best results with over a long period of time. Well, he had opted to go and do something else in a different business and parted ways as friends and all, but I was left with a void. And until I found the right person to take over, at least for a period of time, I was left with this void, and in which time, seeing that I was operating from remote, I didn't really have the right management, the daily management of the business. And in that period of time, a lot of without the right management, without the right inspiration of the leader, the daily operational leader, then I lost some of the very good employees and so on. So some of my services kind of began to decline. The services of limousine services and transportation services that we offered, and not really because of anything changed, other than they were lacking that daily leader who was in the trenches and so on. If you recall, or if you're new here, let me just recap it for you. I was running as an owner this limousine service company in Denmark. It was the largest and oldest of its kind, and we have grown it very, very rapidly into something that was quite substantial. We had about 200 employees, but I had done so and bought it at a point in time when I was a CEO of a car rental company. And that CEO position required of me to, of course, maintain that position and the obligations of maintaining that job. So my ownership of my own business, being the limousine service company, had to be run on my own time. That means that I had to run it on what I call a remote control position, meaning I had to have other people in place to run the daily show. So basically, they would take care of the operations of who takes which car, meet which job, and which client, and at what time, and all of those practical moments. So when I had this period of time, things began to decline a little bit, and seeing that we were charging a premium, then soon enough, customers would come back and say, well, Mikkel, why are we paying a premium when it is that the services are declining here? Now, thankfully soon enough, I got a new operational manager. And although he never really quite kind of got up to on par with the other manager that used to be there, then he did have one moment of insight that I really appreciated. And the moment had to do with, when you're pressed up against the wall, the back is against the wall, you have nowhere else to run, he said. than having to meet it and go forward. And I really, really like that. So the main message of this episode here is when you're faced with what may seem as insurmountable challenges and your back is pressed up against the wall, and so you can't run away from it, you can't turn around, run the other direction, well then actually, like he explained it to me, and or the way he saw it, it's actually not a bad position to be in, because it's kind of like you're removing a lot of those options where you just kind of like want to scurry away and hide away from the problem and kind of find your excuse out of it. And instead you just have to face the enemy, face the challenge at hand, face it with the realities that you are dealing with. And then with a little bit of what you typically will have as a business owner, and certainly what will serve you the most, is to be highly resourceful. Again, if you have met any other mentors in life, and I believe it was Tony Robbins who taught me this particular thing, it was that it's not a matter of how many resources you have, but it's more a matter of how resourceful you become. So your back is up against the wall, you have very little places to run other than facing the challenges and the trouble ahead, and now it's up to you to become really resourceful. And now that you know that this is the only route to go, then you soon enough will begin to find your solutions. We did that too, and we had our clients be happy about us again. We had kind of like a revamping of the energies and the, shall we say, the underlying emotions in the business and with our employees and so on. And soon enough, our services were up to speed again, so to speak, and delivering well with the clients. I hope this has served you well, because I know when we are in a big, great challenge, we kind of like begin to think about, well, shall I throw in the towel and give up and kind of say, well, I tried my best and so on. Or maybe with this new renewed mindset or this thought here, maybe I'm hopeful it will help you in your challenges. This was Mikkel Pitzner, also known as the Automated Millionaire. I invite you to my website, theautomatedmillionaire.com, where you can avail to more free training. I'll show you in the current tab that we have available now, in the current free training available now. I'm actually mapping out the system that I've used with over 100 companies all over the United States, all over Canada, and companies of all kinds of sizes and all industries. And this system was used to help these businesses, most of them really struggling business, turn the situation around and quickly going from maybe losses, maybe even large losses, maybe even close to bankruptcy levels, and then turning these businesses around in matters of just a few weeks or just a few months and onto a path of prosperity. I definitely invite you and urge you to go and check out that training. There is no cost for that. And there's also a number of other resources available for you. Again, that website is theautomatedmillionaire.com. I hope that I'll see you in tomorrow's episode, and I thank you so much for your time here today. Please hit the likes button and maybe consider subscribing to the channel. I'll see you in tomorrow's episode.